I've been a rideshare driver for 3 years, and I've seen my fair share of weird passengers, drunk college kids, couples arguing, and even the occasional barefoot guy who smelled like gasoline. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for the ride I had last Thursday. It was close to midnight when the request came in. A pickup from a quiet residential area, heading toward the other side of town. The profile picture was blank, just a gray silhouette, and the name only said J. Usually I ignored sketchy requests like that, but it was surge pricing and I needed the extra cash. I pulled up to the address. A street lamp flickered overhead, casting weird shadows along the pavement. The house was completely dark, no porch light, no movement inside. I checked the app. Passenger approaching, but no one was there. I was about to cancel when the back door creaked open. A man slid inside, silent as a shadow. He wore a black hoodie with the hood drawn low, obscuring most of his face. No greeting, no eye contact, just the faint sound of his slow breathing. "Hey, how's it going?" I tried, glancing at him in the mirror. Nothing. Not a nod, not a grunt. "All right, one of those rides." I started driving, the GPS leading me toward the outskirts of town. The silence in the car stretched thin, turning heavy. I kept sneaking glances in the rearview mirror. He just sat there, motionless, his hands resting on his lap. Then, in a quiet, deliberate voice, he said, "You had eggs for breakfast." I blinked. "What?" "Scrambled, little burnt. You were on your phone while eating, almost spilled your coffee." I forced a chuckle. "Lucky guess." "Not really, you do it every morning. Same blue mug, same chair, then you sit there for a while, looking at nothing." The hairs on my arms stood up. I hadn't told anyone about that. Hell, I barely noticed my own routine. I focused on the road, gripping the wheel tighter. You must know me from somewhere?" "No, but I know you." I swallowed hard. "What's your name?" He tilted his head slightly. "You already know." I laughed nervously. "Man, if this is some kind of joke, you're really committing to it." He didn't laugh. He didn't even move. "You lived on Oakwood Drive when you were 10, right? Small house, peeling white paint. Bedroom window faced the backyard. You kept the curtains open at night, but you always checked the corners of your room before you fell asleep. You were afraid something was watching." My stomach dropped. I hadn't lived on Oakwood Drive in over 20 years. I hadn't told anyone about those childhood fears. I kept my eyes locked on the road. My throat was dry. "How do you know that?" He let out a slow breath. "You used to hear tapping on the glass sometimes. Thought it was tree branches. It wasn't." I slammed on the brakes. The car jerked to a stop in the middle of the road. My pulse pounded in my ears. I twisted around in my seat. "Who the hell are you?" The man didn't disappear. He was still there, staring at me now, his face partially obscured by the dim lighting. A thin, knowing smile crept onto his lips. "We've met before," he said. "You just don't remember. But you will." The air in the car felt suffocating. My instinct screamed at me to get out, but my body was frozen. Then, slowly, he reached into his hoodie pocket. I tensed, ready to bolt, but instead of a weapon, he pulled out a slip of paper and placed it on the seat beside him. "Open it when you get home," he murmured. Then, before I could react, he opened the door and stepped out. He walked down the road, disappearing into the darkness without looking back. I sat there for a long time, my breath shaky, my fingers gripping the wheel so hard they hurt. When I finally got home, I unfolded the paper with trembling hands. It was an address, Oakwood Drive. Days blurred into a haze of unease, the stranger's words echoing in my ears. the address, Oakwood Drive, pulsed in my mind. Driven by a need I couldn't name, I drove there again. Night. Oakwood Drive, familiar yet alien. Pulled up outside my house, peeling white paint under the moonlight, but porch light on. Warm glow spilling onto the lawn. Someone lived there. Hesitated. Wrong house? No. Address on the slip, address burned into my memory. This was it. Childhood home. Occupied. Heart pounding, I walked to the door, rang the bell, waited. Footsteps inside, door opened. Woman, maybe 40s, kind eyes, surprised. "Can I help you?" Sorry to bother you," I stammered. "I used to live here. Long time ago." Awkward explanation, tumbled out rideshare mix-up. Wrong address, anything to cover the real, unsettling reason I was there. Polite confusion, then a hesitant invitation inside. House, changed, yes, renovated, updated. But the bones were the same. Living room, kitchen, hallway, echoes of memory in every corner. My old bedroom, now a guest room. Standing there, in what was once my space, a disorienting wave hit me. "Foster kid lived here once before us," the woman mentioned casually. "Years ago, quiet boy, didn't stay long." Foster kid. Something clicked. Hard, sharp. "Name?" I asked, voice strained. She frowned, thinking. "Seems like Jay, something like that, just Jay I think we called him, mostly. Why?" "No reason," I mumbled, backing away, suddenly desperate to leave. Back home, I searched. Old photos. And then there he was. A boy at the edge of a childhood memory. Small, thin, forgotten, always hovering nearby, watching with quiet admiration. He had tried to join in, the games, the laughter, but had been pushed aside, left out of inside jokes. One winter, he had given me a drawing, a careful sketch of the two of us as friends. I had laughed, not unkindly, but I never kept it. The memory of his hopeful face now felt like a knife in my gut. Late that night, phone buzzed. Rideshare app, notification, tip from Jay. Fingers trembling, I opened it. No amount, just a message. "You remember now." That's all I wanted. Jeremy James.